Hi, I'm Toni, and this is your Daily Tarot. See what oracle cards we have for the blah, blah, blah. What am I saying? What kind of oracle cards do we have for today is what I meant to say. Resistance and healing hands. Oh, that's an interesting combination. Let's look at the cards one at a time. How beautiful is that? Resistance and healing hands. One thing I even noticed, this is card number 6. This is card 14. 14 adds up to 5. So you have 5 and 6. 5 is the number of changes, big changes coming. 6 is about getting the balance as above, so below. So in other words, you being in alignment with your higher self and being kind of like higher self directed and guided. So that's what healing hands is. This is kind of taking the energy of your own healing into your own hands. And it feels like there has been a lot of resistance to you. You have been very resistant to maybe doing the work, to maybe listening to your higher self, to maybe taking the healing into your own hands. Maybe you're just sitting around and hoping that, you know, one day magically all the answers and solutions are just going to appear before you and you're not going to have to take any definitive or guided or even inspired actions. That is just all going to, one day you'll know what to do and how to do it. I mean, wouldn't that be lovely if that's how it worked? But that's not how it works. In order for you to, you know, move forward in life and to become who you want to become and have the life that you want to have, you're going to have to heal what isn't working, okay? And believe it or not, there isn't one person born who doesn't need something, some little tweak, some little healing, because we all came out pretty early on within the first few weeks of our lives and already we're developing core wounds and like core needs that were unmet, and that was giving us even bigger wounds. And that was before we were even a month old, okay? So everybody needs a little fine tuning, all right? So let's see what the tarot has to say about that. Let's find out what messages do we have for our angels, ancestors, guardians, and guides. Let's look at the past. First, we have the 6 of clubs, or the 6 of wands is in reverse. And we have the ace of clubs, or the ace of wands. So this is the energy of... you know what you want. You've had a really good idea about what in the past, like what it is you want out of this life, the direction you want to take. You have a vague understanding of who you are and where you want to go, okay? So why can't you get there? If you know who you are and you know what you want, you know where you're going, why are you still here not doing what you want to do? Okay, that's where we're at in the past. This is one of those like, well, shoot. How come if I know myself so well, haven't I achieved this goal? Excuse me. A lot of energy coming up in my throat. So I think for some of you, these are words that are kind of unspoken. That is what the resistance to healing is. There is some words that need to be spoken, whether it's telling the truth, whether it's asking for forgiveness or giving forgiveness. Whenever that energy comes up in my throat and it has to do with healing, it's almost always words that are unspoken. All right, so where are we at in the present? Oh, babe. I mean, the tarot this week has already been so loud, and it's only Tuesday. The moon showing up here. This is the energy of it's time to look at those parts of yourself that are unhealed, those parts of yourself that you haven't wanted to look at. So like I said, resistance. What part of your healing journey have you been resistant to even begin? You know, whether it's, you know, there's something from your childhood you know you need to deal with, you haven't dealt with, whether it's forgiveness, whether it's whatever, whether it's, you know, a trauma that's happened in recent years that you haven't begun to peel back and deal with. Whatever this is a lot of resistance. And now the problem here is with the moon showing up, the moon is shining that light on the parts of you that you don't want to look at. And if you don't deal with it, it's just going to get, the issue is just going to amplify and get bigger and bigger and bigger until you do. Life is going to continue to put it right in front of you and make it more and more of an issue until you stop resisting it and choose to actually heal it, okay? So let's look at, and that's kind of what's happening right now. Life is shining the spotlight on the dark, shadowy aspects of yourself so that you can actually be like, oh, well, it turns out I need to deal with that. That's where we're at right now. So let's see where we're headed. Looking at the future, We have the Page of Cups, the Page of Swords, and the Hierophant. That is a very interesting lineup because Page of Cups is in reverse. So Page of Cups, Page of Swords, and Hierophant. So, here, let me lay these all down so I can see them looking at this. So there is definitely this, you are moving forward towards healing, towards discovering parts of yourself that you haven't wanted to heal. The thing is that resistance to some degree has been protective for you. It's giving you kind of a shield because if you don't heal it, then you don't have to feel the pain. You don't have to relive that trauma or whatever that is that you've got to heal from. And so it's been very protective of you. And so you've just not wanted to be uncomfortable. You haven't wanted to deal with it. And so moving forward, this is kind of you willing to be vulnerable, you willing to really look at these parts of yourself. And the coolest thing is that you can't understand. You think that healing this part of yourself is maybe going to let go of an aspect of pain or hurt or fear or anxiety, whatever it is that you're holding on to that comes from that unhealed part of yourself. Whatever emotion or behavior you have that you're holding on to, the ego holds on to because, hey, it's part of who it knows you as. So it's like, let me hold on to the thing that I know. But the thing is that you can't even begin to understand that while that part might heal, let's say, maybe you had to heal from a childhood wound and now that's going to be healing some anxiety and fear that you have, and that's let go. And you're like, oh, great, when I don't have that anxiety and fear, maybe I'll be able to deal with other things. But what you don't see is that it doesn't just heal anxiety and fear. Maybe it actually pushes you into a higher state of confidence, of self-confidence, of happiness, of wisdom. And this really leads you to a higher path. And by higher path, I don't mean like, you're running for president or you're going to become the Pope. But what I mean is just a more confident, a more discerning, a more able to handle things person, okay? This is somebody who is remember I pointed this out, these are the numbers 5 and 6. 5 is the number of change and 6 is the number of connecting to your higher self. Well, that is what the Hierophant is. The Hierophant is supposed to be somebody who is very directly guided from source energy or the higher self. And so that's what this is. This is you getting uncomfortable right now. This is you really being like, okay, you're right. I've put this off long enough. I've just not wanted to make myself uncomfortable. Well, I guess it's time. It's time for me to do the deep dive. It's time to put myself in therapy. It's time to get counseling. It's time to take up daily meditating and yoga and journaling practices and whatever it takes for you to reset. Okay, somatic exercise. That's a very good one. I highly recommend. All these, there's lots and lots and lots of tools, modalities that you can use to work through it. And I'm not here to tell you how to do it, but what I want you to do is identify what is the trigger that keeps coming up that you're not dealing with. Because if you will, the shift is dramatic. Hierophant, Page of Swords, really healing from that, moving on from that. But also I think being somebody who can have a much more balanced approach, perspective, and viewpoint on it so that you're able to maybe even help people in the future or at least give some gleans of insight to those who need it, okay? So let's see what your block is. What is this resistance that you have? Oh, buddy. I mean, that's loud. 7 of Cups. There is just a lot of overwhelming feelings that come up when you think about this. So it's so overwhelming that it almost shuts you down, okay? And we've all been there, when something comes up and it's something painful or uncomfortable to think of, it can be sometimes just too much. There's still parts of my life that it's very hard for me to think about because I just want to shut it out. I'm like, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to think about that. But that's the thing. This is one of those things. If you want to be able to make healthier choices going forward, you're going to have to deal with the pain and the uncomfortable now so that you can release it, heal it, transmute it, and be able to have space for new, beautiful experiences and opportunities to come in that are healthy and healing, okay? So you don't have to hold on to that pain forever and always. This is you allowing yourself space by healing. When you heal, you release the resistance that you're holding on to, and that resistance is taking up a whole lot of time, effort, and energy in your world. And when that's gone, all of a sudden you're gonna have time, effort, and energy to do all sorts of fun things, okay? So let's see what the guidance and advice is for you. Why are all of these cards going on the ground? Let's just hit pause for 1 second. So this is crazy. This is exactly the same advice that we got on yesterday's reading. Judgment in reverse. This is a whole different deck even. Judgment in reverse. This is Archangel Gabriel showing up. This is the crossroads. The advice is it's time for you to decide, do you want to continue to hold on to whatever this is that is unhealed? This is your turn. This is your choice. This is your moment to decide. Do you want to hold on to this pain, this hurt, this trauma, or is it time for you to let it go? This is your time to make a choice, but understand that if you don't let it go, it's something that you're just going to have to carry going forward on and on and on. And they're telling you it's time, the resistance, it's time to let that go. It's time to, remember, resistance is 14. 14 adds up to 5. What did I say? 5 is the number of change. It's time to change that resistance and to lean into that healing. And, you know, Archangel Gabriel is here. This is kind of a divine timing card, if you will, even. But they're saying, hey, it's time to stop the judgment, the fear of what it's going to be like to deal with this, to experience what you got to experience to heal. Let go of that fear and allow yourself to heal, okay? The underlying cards to support the reading, and we will close it out, are the Page of Coins and the Two of Coins. Look, you're definitely not getting what you want out of this life. And in fact, until you heal this pain, you're just going to continue to feel very ungrounded, unsettled, unhappy, imbalanced, just not going in the direction that you want to go. And that's because you're not looking at the root issue. You know, we just think that if we put something in the closet and we compartmentalize it and don't think about it, that's fine, but it's still there. The energy is still hanging out, just waiting for you to come up and see it. So guess what? It's having an impact on you. Even if you're not thinking about it, it's still within you, energetically taking up space, impacting you, keeping you imbalanced, keeping you ungrounded, keeping you not going the way you want to go. If it's time for you to decide, is it worth holding on to this unhealed part of yourself just because you don't want to be uncomfortable and deal with it? Okay? If it was me, I'd get uncomfortable real quick and get to the healing so that I can get on with my life and get back to the point of being happy, healthy, and healed. All right? Because you know what? You weren't born unhappy. You weren't born unhealed. Okay? You're supposed to be happy and healthy and healed. Get back to your natural state of being. All right. If you enjoyed this reading and you'd like a private reading with me, be sure to check out my Etsy store. The link is down below. Share this with somebody who might find it helpful. Give me a little love, give me a quick like, or leave me a comment so I don't feel like I'm up here talking to myself, because I really think I'm talking to myself half the time. Or, I mean, if you are so bold, you could even subscribe. I would love to see you. Come on back tomorrow until I get to see you again. Love you. Take care of yourself.